Alright, today we're going to talk about the area of a triangle and the area of a trapezoid. By the end of this period, you should be able to take a trapezoid or a triangle and find the area. Okay? For you to do that, you got to know some definitions. You got to know what the base of a triangle is, or a trapezoid. On a trapezoid, there's two. You got to know the altitude, which is up and down. You got to know the height and obviously the definition of a trapezoid, but we've already talked about that in here. It's a quadrilateral, okay, looking sort of like this, with two parallel sides. Okay, your bases are going to be here and here. A and B are your bases. Okay, but we'll get more into that. Okay, so I want you to copy this. This says the area of a triangle is equal to half the product of its base and its height. Okay. So the main thing you need is this formula. Area equals 1/2 base times height. Alright, so we know that area equals 1/2 base times height. Another way to rewrite this formula is going to be area equals base times height divided by 2. Okay? This and this are the same. Okay, so you need both formulas, but this is the one we're mainly going to use. Because it's real easy. You just take the base times the height and divide it by 2. Okay, you also need to know that the longest side of the triangle is always the base. It doesn't always have to be on the bottom. Let's say our triangle's like this. Okay? Now, this is the base, because it's the longest side. So the longest side is always the base. Now the height is always the line opposite, the angle opposite the base, which is right here, straight up and down. Okay, when someone measures your height, you don't stand sideways, do you? Okay, so this isn't going to be the height. Alright, the height's as straight up and down as you can get. When you get measured in your height and they have you stand up as tall as you can, don't you? Okay, same thing here, straight up and down, as tall as it can be. Okay, so let's try an example. It says find the area of a triangle that has base equal to 14 inches, height equal to 5 inches, and this is your formula. Okay? So we're going to do it a little bit different. We're going to say base times height divided by 2. So what's the base? 14. So we're going to plug that in. 14 times the height, which is 5, divided by 2. What's 14 times 5? 70. And 70 divided by 2 is going to be 35. So that the area of this triangle is 35. Now, we're talking about inches, so the area is going to be 35 inches. Okay, so now you say, well, what is the area? Well, if this is our triangle, the area is everything on the inside of the triangle. Okay? The area is everything on the inside of the triangle. So now let's look at a trapezoid. I want you to copy what's up here on the board. The formula for a trapezoid is going to be the area equals 1/2 the height times the area plus the base. The A plus the B. Both this A and B are bases. Okay? A is going to be your small base, and B is going to be your larger base. Okay? So to find the area of this thing, we're going to add B and A, we're going to multiply it times H, and then we're going to divide the whole thing by 2. Okay? Another way to rewrite this is going to be A equals H times A plus B divided by 2. That's another way for you to write this. Okay? So we're going to have an example in a second, but it's so simple. A plus B times H divided by 2. Okay? So let's look at our example. We've got find the area of the trapezoid where A is this, okay? B is 17, and the height is 9. Okay? So if A is 13 and B is 17, we're going to do A plus B equals what? 30. And then we're going to do H times 30. So what's H?
30.
H is what? 9. 9 times 30 equals 270. And then we're going to divide it by 2, and that equals what? And what? 135. Okay. And on here they did centimeters, so it's going to be 135 centimeters. So that's going to be your area of your trapezoid. Okay, now if you were to have to draw this trapezoid, you would draw it like this, and A would be up here, so it'd be 13, B is 17, the height is 9, and the area is 135. Alright, we know our formula is going to be area for this triangle, base times height divided by 2. Okay? We know our base is 16 and our height is 12, so we're going to have 16 times 12 divided by 2. What's 16 times 12? 192. And we're going to divide that 192 by 2, and what do we get? 96. And we're using yards, so it's going to be 96 yards. Okay? Now we use this formula. Why, Chris?
Because it's a triangle.
Because it's a triangle. Okay? So now I want you to try this example of a trapezoid. Now for a trapezoid, you're going to use the formula height times A plus B divided by 2. Now since this is the smaller base, it's going to be what? Oh, since this is a smaller base, it's going to be what?
No,
A. And since this is the bigger base, it's going to be what? B. And then they tell you what the height is, so see if you can find the area. Okay, so we know this is the formula. We just got to plug in what we got. Okay, what's H? 4.1. And A is 10.5. And B is what? 12.3. So we got to do all that and then divide by 2. So we've got 10.5 plus 12.3. What is that? 22.8 times 4.1 is what? 90 what? Is it 91?
I got 93.48. Yeah.
That's what I think it is. 93.48. Okay. Now that's going to be 10.5 plus 12.3 times 4.1. Then you're going to divide by 2. And so your area of the trapezoid is 46 point what? 74. And we're using meters, so it's going to be meters. You always got to put your unit. Alright, so here we have 3 different problems, and they're all triangles, so we have to use the formula area equals base times height divided by 2. Okay? Here they tell you what the base and the height is. The base is 16 and the height is 7. Base times height, what's 16 times 7? And then what's that divided by 2? 56. Okay? So that's 56 centimeters is going to be your area. On this problem, we've got 15 1/3 times 6, and then we got to divide the whole thing by 2. So 15 1/3 as an improper fraction is going to be what? Right. 3 times 15 is 45, plus 1 is 46, over 3, times 6 over 1. Okay? 46 times 6 is going to be what? 276? 270. Okay? And 3 times 1 is 3. Right? Now what's 276 divided by 3? 92. And then we got to divide that by 2. And what does that equal? 46. So the area here is 46 feet. On this last one, we got base times height, which is 440, divided by 2, which equals 220 in centimeters. You understand? Alright, so now I got 3 trapezoid problems I want you to do the exact same thing on. On these 3 trapezoid problems, it gives you the 2 bases. This is going to be A because it's smaller. So you're going to do this plus this times this, all divided by 2, right? Because you're plugging your formula. Area equals height times A plus B divided by 2. Okay? So these are A and B, and this is H, and then you're going to get your area out of it. Come on. Alright, so we got to find the area of each of these trapezoids. So we're going to do base plus height, because that's what it says right here. I mean, base plus base. 14 plus 18 is 32. 32 times 6 is what? 192?
Yeah.
And then you got to divide it by 2, and what do you get? 96? And it's inches. Remember, you got to put your unit, 96 inches. Okay, here you got base plus base. 20 plus 7 is 27. A half plus a half is a whole. So 20 and a half plus 7 and a half is 28. Okay? 28 times 12, what is that? 336. And 336 divided by 2 equals what? 162 meters. On this last one, you got 8.6 plus 5.2, which equals 13.8. And 13.8 times 7 is what?
I got 168.
She did it right. 96 point what? Raise your hand next time you're on top. Then we got to divide that by 2, and we got what?
48.3.
48.3 yards. Okay, now let's look at number 2. 336 divided by 2 is 168. So number 2 is 168, not 162. Alright, so today you learned how to solve the area of a triangle or a trapezoid. So tonight on your homework you should be able to create a triangle or trapezoid and tell the area of each.